Hi, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons Online with Ross Algar, and today we're going to be going through the final dungeon of the Slave Lord series. This would be Assault on the Aerie of the Slave Lords. Now, I have a very good expectation considering what we encountered last adventure with the kinds of traps that were encountered, what we might be in for. I have not played through this adventure as yet, so this is a virgin run on the third module of the series. And I actually had, if you notice there, at the top of the screen, I've actually got a few more buffs. I had gone back to my guild airship to do a little exploring, and I was actually looking for the chest where I could put some items that I had achieved last adventure in there to kind of help my guild mates out, give them a little nod. Now, in the last video, I had posted there was, 100% zero guild support, and I have to apologize to my guild. That wasn't entirely true. That was more humor. If anything, I do get a lot of guild support from these guys, even though I have missed them again um, within 11 hours of somebody. But you can see they're fairly active. I mean, they're here at least once a week or so, and then they do pretty well. Crypt Crawlers is a great group, and the leader, Ed Erdike, he's a great guy. I've talked with him on occasion. But there was a comment made regarding the first video that I received, and I did get your comment. I'm just going to call you X. I'm not going to say your name. I didn't post your comment for a couple of reasons, but I did read it, and I understand you don't like Dungeons and Dragons Online, and that you're very angry with Turbine for what they did apparently with your guild. I'm assuming that's what had happened. Well, there are a couple things I want to address. And first of all, I want to thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. I was absolutely stoked that somebody took the time to not only watch my video, but actually to comment on it. And then what I read was that you weren't happy with this game. Well, that's okay. I want to clarify something for everybody that in my viewership, however small, and there's a number of you who are watching that are not subscribing. And thank you, by the way. I am not paid by or endorsed by or in any way represent Turbine or Dungeons and Dragons Online. Nor do I any of the other videos that I do, either whether it's wargaming.net with World of Warships or, apart from me being a player in their games, that's the only affiliation I have with them. So I hope you can appreciate why I want to avoid any kind of comments on my channel that I feel are detrimental to them. I don't want any bad press. Second of all, I don't want to encourage any kind of trolling on my channels, and I felt that your comment was it could have it led down that road where there was just, yes, it is a good game, no, it's not. It really doesn't matter. If you don't enjoy the game, that's fine. I find it amusing, though, that you watched a video of a game you hate and then cared to comment on it. I have to I have to tease you a little bit there, but I do appreciate that you watched it and that you did take the time and comment, and I really do thank you for your feedback. But you mentioned the guilds, and his concern was that a guild that's been inactive 60 days gets taken over by Turbine, and pretty much you get ousted from the guild. Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. When a person such as myself would create a guild, there are certain things that you agree to do. One is that you have a number of officers who are available to fall back on should the guild run into some time. Things happen. People have real life. But being a guild leader is actually a very time-consuming and very much of a commitment, both on the part of the players who form the guild and for Turbine. If you remember now, this is a free-to-play game. They are paid to make games, okay? So they have to have money coming in. They have to have a business model that makes them successful. So that when they agree to form a guild with a player, they're taking up valuable resources, memory, RAM, actual physical memory to store data For other players, the benefit of being in a guild is you gain buffs and other people to play with. When a guild becomes inactive, okay, this becomes a problem for Turbine because the guild isn't active. If somebody isn't on the guild ship, all right, and putting in buffs up available for everybody, people become unhappy with the game, and this is sets a bad precedent. Okay, now there have been a number of problems with Dungeons and Dragons Online in the past that I had been very unhappy with. One of them was they had problems with the DDO store where the lag time was just horrendous. And it was such a problem, and I had actually addressed it. I sent them a message, and then they wrote me back and they said, hey, thank you so much, but we are working on this. We have a team who are looking into it, expect an answer and a resolution to this by this last summer. They kept their promise. Okay, so while I can understand the frustration of a player who's in a guild that folds, you can't really blame Turbine for the guild leadership failing to meet their end of the bargain. They have a business to run at the end of the day, and they have to make business decisions that, if they need to free up that memory for something else, I can't blame them for that. So I appreciate your comment on that. I would like to steer clear from, I hate this game, it sucks, I would never pay money for it type of comment. That's not what I'm looking for. I encourage you to leave me feedback, though. I'd love to hear from what you're doing. With that said, it's probably going to be a long time before I do another Dungeons & Dragons Online video, simply because there's nothing else that I feel that I could add to that would be beneficial for those who play until new material comes out. So this will be the last trilogy of videos for the last module on the Against the Slave Lord series that I'll be doing for a while. So for those of you who, they're not all that up on DDO, it's okay, I understand. Not everybody has the same taste in games, and it's quite all right. But I hope you continue to watch. I hope at least you get a good laugh out of some of my antics that come through here, and you continue to watch. So I appreciate you so much for your comments, and please understand that this is just a hobby for me. I don't make any money doing this. Okay, so with that said, let's get on with the game. I'm going to go ahead and now I have prepped myself up here. I've cleared some slots. And I've actually got a level 11 Cleric Hireling, the Fighter 11th Mikhail again, and I went with Aethers the Dower again because he's just such a badass. So let's go ahead and look into the quest. Aerie of the Slave Lords. Now, if this goes anything like I think it's going to, we're in for a real treat. The last adventure, while there were some disappointments towards the end, I mean, overall, I was just amused, and I had a great time running that. All right, let's go ahead and get our cleric, power him up. Call in our fighter, and let's get our sorcerer. Put our we'll put the fighter and the sorcerer on attack, cleric on defense, and the first thing I've got to do on my way to the assault the area of the slave lords is to speak with Bloggett. Then we got to find and defeat the slave lords, and I believe there are 6 of them.
You enter the cave said to lead to the slave lords. Near the entrance, you find a wounded halfling standing over the body of a dead slaver.
And if you hear me sipping in the background, I apologize. I am drinking coffee while I'm doing this. So you're not a slaver. How did you get here? If you make it out, tell Dame Gold that we tried, but we failed. I work for Dame Gold as well. Who are you? What happened to your companions? Dame Gold sent us to track down the slave lords. Things were Okay, here's another enigma problem. Things we were going fine, doing fine, things were going fine. I think that's what they meant. Things were going fine. Oh, God, guys, come on. Until we entered this cave. I ran into a small army of slavers. Vanstern and Elwida were captured. Freda and I escaped, but we got separated. I got a feeling we're going to have to find these people. It's no use. I'll never make it to Suderham in time with this wound. You'll need to do it. Now, Suderham is actual the name of the city from the classic Dungeons and Dragons modules where the slave lords are based. What is Suderham, you ask? Well, why do you want me? What do you want me to do? Or we could choose when did this happen. Maybe your companions can still be saved. Let's. Well, I already know the answer to this. Let's go with this one. Not long, just a few hours. If you find them, do what you can to help. Send them back my way. I think I'll be fine. Here, I'll rest up. And of course, if you want to know what Suderham is, if you've never played the modules before, and what do you want me to do, he kind of clarifies it for you. Suderham is a hidden slaving city near here. The slave lords have a fortress there, walls a league high and crawling with guards. And parenthetical statement: that's not an exaggeration. Back in the original modules, it was just that tough. I was supposed to meet a man named Auric in town, and he said he knew a secret way he could get to the slave lords, take them by surprise. Its passages are said to lead to the city. You better get going if you want to meet Auric. Okay, I'll contact Auric and Suderham, and don't worry, the reign of the slave lords is about to end.
Logic tells you to find a man named Auric. Make your way through these underground passages, then meet Auric inside the slaving city of Suderham.
Okay, left or right? Let's go right. Of course, that runs counter to the logic of any kind of dungeon I've ever gone in. I've always found that when people created dungeons, oh, we got a news. They tended to want the party to go to the right and not to the left. So they would always have your primary encounters off to the right if you came into a passage like this, and any subsequent encounters. In fact, when I played in the RPGA, we actually broke a mod. Uh, Going to the left, the entire thing, it was just one big circle, and so we went backwards in order of everything that the author had created for everybody to go to the right. It was rather hilarious. Okay, but we got a number all color here. What is this? Well, there's Freda, and looks like her remains. Okay, well, I'm going to kind of sneak. I'm going to send my fighter forward. Oh, that is not cool. Okay, alright, that could have been a lot worse. A torch. What's going on? I was running through the caverns trying to escape from slavers, then something sprang out of the darkness and things got confusing. Well, you're safe now. You should find lodging and get out of these caves. Oh, close. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, plus 315 experience. We got him. And let's see. Now we just gotta find Auric, and find Alita, and rescue Fanstern. I didn't see any treasure back there. Of course, the Umber Hulk didn't have any treasure the last time I remember either. In the well, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did in the last adventure that we encountered the Umber Hulk. And I probably should be a little more cautious. I'm not expecting. Okay. Interesting. Now, let's go back this way. Let's go back the way we came. Wait a minute, what? Are you serious? Isn't this where we started? Oh. Okay. Oh, hello. Spiders. Okay, we can either go forward. Alright, so We know where we are now. Let's go back down this way. So dungeons like this, when I first of all, yeah, I sometimes like to backtrack just to cover all my bases. And you never know. Sometimes you'll find something pertinent. This doesn't seem to be anything here. I don't see anything. Maybe a quick... Oh, okay. Go back. That's interesting. I wonder what that stuff is. Cauldron. Alright, now I'm going to start seeking, because at this point I expect something other than Umber Hulks. Like that pot of fire was a good clue. Uh, okay. Get a load of that.
The
Crystals.
floor here is covered with coarse white granules, naturally occurring salt crystals from the cave walls. You stumble and slide down the sloping corridor.
Alright, I think this intends for me to try to fall down here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and try to just come down. Bring everybody down here with me. Knolls. Okay. Biter forward. Alright, I'm going to get out my great crossbow here. Oh, good hit. Being a master mechanic, I get bonuses on great crossbows. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I go to my enhancements. So here's my race benefits. And every character has a choice of what their kind of like concentration of skills or feats and what have you. The master mechanic here you get an arbalaster. Your range sneak attack and point blank range increases by 5 meters per trained mechanic core advancement. You also become proficient with great crossbows. You can beef that up. And then I gain sharpshooter with that, so I get +1 to hit and damage with all bows, crossbows, and thrown weapons. And I do a +1 additional damage on sneak attack on all non-repeating crossbows. And then I got another rank of sharpshooter, so I get an additional +1, and then of course, you know, it just keeps going up in that. And then this is also where some of my trap making comes in. I can do lacerating shots. This is a passive ability. I have improved traps. So I've got Thunderstone and the ooze flask, which you've seen me do before. And I can skill boost, and I've taken other things that increase my abilities, plus Tanglefoot, and let's see, targeting sights, which gives me use my intelligent modifier on crossbows and thrown weapons. Okay, but that's kind of an overview of what the Master Mechanic can do, some of the basic things I've taken. So we got the first boss out of the way of the room here. What was that? Uh-oh. Oh, there. Okay, there's another one. Okay, sneaky little jerks. Looks like they're more or less. Let's go ahead and get my. I've got a club. Okay. Don't see anything over here. Search, you never know. You never know. Anything over here? Sometimes searching doesn't necessarily find traps or doors. Sometimes there might be some kind of clue. Alright, let's start sneaking. Let's start sneaking. There we go. Depending how the adventure's written. Like a ranger out in the wild, if you would do a search, if there was anything notable regarding tracking something, so you might find something. Let's see here. It's a little quiet. It's a vase. Okay, there's more than one. Alright, let me creep for just a bit. Ooze flask, send them forward. You guys forget about him. Oh my goodness. Alright. I think that's everybody there. Hey! Gems. Yeah, I like gems. Gems are good. Alright, there's something significant about that brazier over there. I don't know. What if I... Let's see. No. Just got this sense of dread as I'm doing this right now. It just seems too quiet and too easy. If you're asking why I came over to the right, when I get an opening like that, I'm always wary. Uh huh. See what I mean? That's interesting. Let's see what's this over here. Okay, so there's definitely a way to the right and a way in front. I didn't see it. Oh, that's right. That's the chest. Come back over this way. Into the wall reads, not an actual door. Oh, that's funny. False door. Alright, that's the way we came. Here we go. There's more of those sheets. I guess it's linens or something. I remember running across. Oh, okay, we've got. Sneak attack! Got him. Pens of some kind. Okay, I guess those were the meat, skins. The fire's out, huh? Doesn't seem to be very trap heavy, this dungeon. So far. More rats. Oh god, he's a big one. See anything as far as breakables go? Alright. I'm gonna hold everybody up here and I'm gonna sneak forward. Okay, so there's chains for the